welcome to Botany Insider, and in this lecture we are continuing the series of cell biology, and in this lecture we would be discussing about the nucleosome concept. It is one of the most important concepts from the cell biology unit, as questions have been framed previously from this area many times. So talking about the introduction of the topic, so the chromatin is the stainable material in the cell nucleus. And what is a nucleus? So as we have discussed in the basics of cell biology, that a cell contains three main components, that is the cell membrane, then we have the cytoplasm, and then we have the nucleus in the center. So the chromatin material is present inside the nucleus and it is the stainable material. What is the meaning of stainable? So any material that can absorb the stain, that can absorb the color when color is given to it. For example, consider we have a cell and we have immersed this cell into a glass plate, and we have inserted or we have poured some methylene blue in it. So chromatin, because being a stainable material, when we would be observing this cell under the microscope after a few minutes, we could easily identify or we could easily detect that where is the chromatin present. Why? Because chromatin by that time would have taken up the stain which we have given in the watch glass. So chromatin is actually made up of these three components, that is, it is about 60% of protein, it have about 35% of DNA and 5% of the RNA. So the information that is stored in the DNA is organized, it is replicated, and it is read with the help of a variety of DNA binding proteins. So DNA binding proteins are actually categorized into two main types. On one side we have the histones, and on the other side we have the non-histones. And histones are further classified into the nucleosome histones and the H1 histones. The most common examples of the nucleosome histones are the H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. They all are present in equal proportion while we study about the complete packaging of the nucleosome or the nucleosome concept. So talking about the histones first, so they are low molecular weight, small sized proteins that varies from 10 to 50 kilodalton in size, and they have a very high proportion of the positively charged amino acids which are basic in nature, and these amino acid makes up about 20% of these histones. And the basic amino acids that are present in this histones are the arginine and the lysine. Make sure you remember about amino acids because questions have been framed previously from this area. So talking about the types, so we have the nucleosome histones, or they are also called as the core histones, and also on the other side we have the H1 histones. Talking about the nucleosome or the nucleosomal histones, so the important points regarding the nucleosome histones are that there are about 8 molecules of 4 types each. That is, we have 4 main types of the nucleosome histone, that is H2A, H2B, H3 and H4, and all of these are present in 2 units. That is, in the cell we would be finding about 2 molecules of each of this, makes that these are 8 molecules. Why? Because when we add them up we would be getting total 8 molecules of 4 types. Hence we would say that the nucleosome histones are of 4 types and they are present in the number of 8 molecules. They are all present in equal amount, and next point to remember is that each one of them have a amino acid of about 102 to 135. That is, each of these histones are made up of about 102 to 135 amino acids. They all are present in equal, or in other words we can say that they all are present in equimolar amount. Next important point to remember about the nucleosome histone is that each of them are present after every 200 base pairs. That is, when we coil the complete chromatin into a chromosome, we would be having some base pairs present. So after every 200 base pairs, we would be finding out these core histones present, and because these core histones are 8 in number, they form an octamer. We can also call it as a histone octamer. Make sure you remember about this term, that after every 200 base pairs, these core histones make up the histone octamer, or they are also called as, or they also form the core particle. So we would be saying that after every 200 base pairs in the complete thread of the chromatin that we are focusing upon, we would be finding out the core histones that are 8 in number, and in those 8 numbers we have 4 types of the nucleosome histones present. So talking about, on the other hand, we have the H1 histones. So it is a large and a tissue specific protein. You need to remember the various important characteristics of the H1 histones also, because it does carry some specific and different characteristics. Next important point to remember is that it is also present one molecule per 200 base pairs, and they are loosely associated with the DNA. As after every 200 base pairs we have the nucleosome histones, we also find one H1 histones which is present after every 200 base pairs. The other name for the H1 histone is also the linker or the spacer histone. Why it is called as the linker histone? Because of its structure. That is, this is the H1 histones, and it have two main components. The first one is the globular region, and also it have two arms present. One arm is known as the amino terminal, and the other arm is known as the carboxyl terminal. So what this H1 histone actually does is, it helps to tighten the complete thread of the chromatin material, and thus it helps in tightening, or thus it helps to put together the complete nucleosome that are loosely attached. Consider, we have this complete thread. So after every 200 base pairs, we would be having the nucleosomal histones and also the H1 histones. So this nucleosomal histone would be providing the stability, and the H1 histones would be actually trying to minimize the space for the packaging. And why we require, or why we need the H1 histones? Because as we know that the cell is very small in size. Hence, it is required to manage, or it is required to pack the very long DNA molecule that we have into a small short area. Hence, H1 histones play a very major role in the same. So next important point to remember is that the H1 histones are responsible for packing the nucleosome into 30 nanometer nucleoprotein fibers. Why 30 nanometers? We would be understanding about it in the further slides. Talking about the functions of the histones, so they perform two major functions. The first function is that these serve as the structural element, and they help in coiling and also the packaging of the large DNA molecule. The next important function that they perform is that these suppress the specific segments of the DNA and they restrict them from transcription. These are the two main important functions that are performed by the histones. Make sure you remember them, because these points I have taken directly from the previous year question papers. So it might be helpful for you in the future exam also. So this is how the nucleosome structure actually looks like. So we have studied that the nucleosome have two main types of DNA binding protein. The first one is the nucleosomal proteins, and the second one is the H1 histones. So as you can see in the figure, that the core histones or the nucleosomal histones form the octamer, and this octamer is formed by the help of H2A, H2B, H3 and H4, and each of these core histones are 2 in number, which makes up this 4 octamer like structure, in which we have 4 types of the core histones present stacked over one another. And along with the octamer, we also have the H1 histone, which is also given the name of the linker DNA, which helps to pack or which helps to minimize the area of the complete DNA fiber. So looking into the complete packaging, so initially we have the DNA double helix. This histone comes and binds, or it helps to tighten the complete strand of the DNA molecule, and with subsequent packaging we have the nucleosome formed, and by regular coiling and vigorous packaging by the help of the histones and the non-histones all together, there occurs the formation of the chromatin fiber, and when this chromatin fiber is further packed into more concise form, we get the complete chromosome in hand, or we have the chromosome present in the nucleus. So chromosome is nothing but a comprised or a concised form of the DNA double helix, which is compressed by the help of the various DNA binding proteins, and also by the help of the various other bonds that are created between the same. So this is how the complete packaging takes place. So we have the DNA double helix initially of the 2 nanometers. The nucleosomes comes and binds and helps in the formation or helps to minimize the size to the 10 nanometers, and on further coiling we have the formation of a solenoid, and we would call a structure into a solenoid when the structure is compressed to a size of 30 nanometers, and beyond 30 nanometers it gets converted to 300 nanometers, that is it becomes more condensed, and with further packaging and other subsequent steps we have the final formation into 700 nanometers, and the final condensation occurs at a 1400 nanometers, and finally we have the formation of our chromosome. On the right hand side also you can see more elaborative diagram. So we have the DNA double helix, we have the histone proteins present, we have the nucleosome which is formed by the help of the core particles and the H1 histones. There occurs the formation of the chromatin by the help of the packaging, and also by the help of the linker DNA, which is the H1 histone that we have talked about. Then there occurs the formation of chromatin fibers, and with further folds and other formations of the structures like the loop, we have the final chromosome present, in which we have the 2 strands which are given the name of chromatid, and the middle portion is given the name of the centromere, and this complete structure is called as the chromosome in total. You can see that how the complete arrangement takes place. We have the H1 histones in the middle and the DNA getting coiled over the core particles, and with subsequent and the further packaging of the DNA molecule we have a 30, then 300, 700 and finally 1400 nanometers packaging occurs in the DNA helix. So this is the complete structure. This is the picture from my notes itself. So you can see the level of chromatin packaging and the coiling in the chromosome. Initially we have 2 nanometers, which is the short region of the DNA double helix. Then we have a beads on a string form of chromosome, which is about 11 nanometers in size. Then we have a 30 nanometer chromatin fiber of the packed nucleosome, which is about 30 nanometers, and this shape is given the name of solenoid, and this solenoid is more clearly visible in the early prophase of the cell cycle. Make sure you remember about this particular note, because initially question have been framed from this area previously. So after the 30 nanometers we have the 300 nanometers packaging, in which we have a section of the chromosome in an extended form. Then we have the condensed section of the metaphase chromosome, which is of the size of 700 nanometers, and finally we have a 1400 nanometers sized, or the complete DNA is now packed into a 1400 nanometers condensed size, and we have the complete metaphase chromosome. So this is the final packaging, or this is the final level of packaging in the DNA double helix. So this was all about the complete nucleosome concept and its detail. Now let us just quickly try to solve this particular question from the previous year. So this is a part C question, and the question says that following statements are made about the chromatin remodeling in the human cells. So these are the options, or these are the information given about the same, and what we have to do is select the option that has a combination of all the correct answers. What we have to do is we need to find out all the correct options in the complete question. So what we can do is either we can find out one incorrect statement, or we can solve out all the three correct options. So let's just start off the question now. So the first option says that the local chromatin conformation may play more important role than the local DNA sequence of the promoter. The histones in the nucleosome can undergo many different content modification, which in turn alter the chromatin structures locally. Then the third option says that the chromatin remodeling is a developmental regulated passive process which does not require ATP. And the last option says that several histone variants exist which replaces the standard histone in the specific type of the chromatin. So see, what we have studied is not applicable in this question. So the best way to solve out this question is by using some common sense and some tricks. Look at option number 3. It says that the chromatin remodeling is a developmentally regulated passive process which does not require ATP. If we apply some general knowledge to this particular point, we could easily analyze that if we are remodeling that, or if we are packaging our chromatin into the chromosome, it cannot be a passive process. It must be requiring some energy, and this general knowledge makes this option incorrect. So eliminate the option 3 from all the options. So if we eliminate the incorrect answer or the incorrect option 3 from the options given, we can easily reach out to the correct answer, that is option C. See, this is not possible that we must be having all the information that is given in the question paper. We must be having the knowledge of every single point that is given, because most of the points are, or some of the points given in the question are experimental based, which cannot be remembered up to the examination point. So the best way to solve such question is try to use tricks, try to use smart way to solve such questions. This question is very easy if we apply some general knowledge to it. So the other 3 options says that the local chromatin conformation may play more important role than the local DNA sequence of the promoter. This is a correct statement. Hence option A is correct. So we have first option correct. Then talking about the second option, the histone in the nucleosome can undergo many covalent modification which in turn alter the chromatin architecture locally. This is a correct statement because it says that the histones undergoes different covalent modification and hence they change the chromatin architecture or they change the chromatin design. This is what is the actual function of the histones. So B is also the correct option. Talking about the fourth option, we have the several histone variants exist which replaces the standard histone in the specific type of the chromatin. This is also a correct statement. So this is also a statement that you could add on in your notes. So option 4 is also correct, and if we look at the combination of 1, 2 and 4, we find it in option C. Hence C is the correct answer for this particular question. So I hope this question is clear to you. So with this, we're done with the complete topic of nucleosome and also a previous year question for the practice purpose. So I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you like this video, please do like, share it with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. And also I'll be coming up very soon with more informative videos as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.